It's Bree Adams, and I'm just going to show you guys real quick one of the ways that I edit with textures with a newborn. This is the shoot that I did on Facebook Live the other day. Now, one of the most important things are always going to be getting it right in camera. The only thing, let's see here, this is the full picture of what I took, so you can see there's a lot of open space for cropping. One of the reasons that I do that, I shoot with a 24-70, is when you shoot with anything under 100, you could get some lens distortion. So by having some extra spacing around the baby, I kind of make sure I don't get the big bobblehead look. So I crop everything inside of Lightroom. I do all of my custom balance. So what I'll do is take the first picture of the grouping, and I would do all of my color balance and all that good stuff to it, and then I would sync it to everything that's specifically in this basket, and even on this floor sometimes, with the exception of the crop, because I'll crop different things creatively. But I do all that in Lightroom. It's super quick. Once I cull it down, which takes me about 10 minutes to cull, and then it takes me maybe 10 minutes to go through and sync everything accordingly to go into Photoshop, so it's not too terrible. So in this case, I'm going to choose this one here. This is one of the first ones of our sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and crop it in there. One thing I am going to do is I am going to open up these shadows. As you can see, we've got beautiful light direction, which is really what we need for baby. Now, I've actually taken these shadows up just a little bit, but I'm actually going to take them up quite a bit in this case. And this is one of the reasons I was bouncing flash. Even though light direction was beautiful here, it was still darker here than I wanted. So I had my flash pointing just a little bit this way to keep the light directional, but trying to fill in this dark space. So I don't really feel like there's any color balance issues here. Mostly what I saw was the cropping and the shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one straight into Photoshop. Now, I will say there was some sort of a crazy widget that downloaded into my computer this weekend, wanting to clean my Mac and do a bunch of nonsense. So my computer is being a little testy and a little slow. It's a bit frustrating, so just be a little patient with me. Now, this is the floor I did from Home Depot. It's just a piece of plywood, and then I put some peel and stick tiles. Now, that comes with the caveat of having to clean this up in each photo, but for the most part, it's super quick. I just go through and I delete out the corners. Just kind of get rid of the trash that's in the photo. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this healing brush, and then I'm going to do an alt click at the source of what I want to copy, and then I'm going to go through and just get rid of these lines. Now, if you want to do a straight line with your spot brush without moving up and down, all you got to do is hit alt click and then go to the top of your source, click, then hit shift, drag down to the end of what you're doing, and it'll make a straight line. Okay, so that's all I'm doing right now. Actually, this kind of bugs me a little. As you can see, it's just super quick. And I've actually got to where I actually outsource these first 4 baskets to someone that I gave her. I created actions for everything I do. I gave her my textures, and then I sat down and showed her this is exactly how I edit, and now she does it for me. So as you can see here, our floor is pretty cleaned up. Now, one thing about little McKenna here is she has kind of got some skin issues, got a little scowl on her face. So we're going to go in and do just a little bit of baby Botox because we don't want her to look uncomfortable. So I do that by doing that second healing brush, and then I do an alt click just below or just above, depending on her, where I was, and I just kind of get rid of that little furrow. I don't want to change who McKenna is or who she looks like, but I definitely want to get rid of that furrow just to make her look a little bit more relaxed. And she's still kind of... And part of that's just even getting rid of some of these shadows just a bit. Now, I will say that that thumb is driving me nuts, and normally this is about all I would do on a full edit, but I kind of want that thumb gone. Do I want the thumb gone? Okay, I'm going to take a small detour here and see about replacing this thumb. I just think it's really distracting, and I could not get her to put it down. So just out of curiosity, I'm just using my patch tool right now. This might look super weird here in a second, but it's always worth a shot. that's kind of weird. We're going to go back. Let's just go back. McKenna can keep her thumb. All right, so from here what I'm going to do, that's about as much as I would mess with baby skin and about as much as I would mess with the floor. So here's where I've created my actions that just goes and does everything for me. So in this case, because I do have a workflow, I have an action called dark floor. And once I press the button, it's going to go grab the texture I'm using. It's going to drop it on top of the photo. It's going to create a mask, and then I'm going to go and mask it off. So this is what my action would do. And it would be just this fast, and then I would just move on. But obviously, since you guys don't have that texture, I'm going to go through and do it manually so you can see how I do it. Now, I already saw that this looked super dark. So I'm actually going to go through real quick, and I'm gonna lighten this corner up just a little. I can already see it's going to lock up in blacks, which I don't want, and I actually kind of saw that in this corner. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to go, missed a line, you're just going to go and grab a texture that you like. I have a set of textures that I automatically use. This is the one I'm going to use today. I like my textures to be lighter in the center, darker on the edges, so it gives it a soft vignette. I'm going to put it on top, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to change the screen mode. I'm going to put it into screen. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do screen. I'm going to do soft light. And there we go. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to click this little button here, and I'm going to add a mask. I'm going to go grab a brush. I'm going to get a black paintbrush so that I can paint it off. And I'm going to paint that off on McKenna. Super easy. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to merge that layer. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back into Lightroom. Now these are still a little dark, so I'm actually going to open up my shadows a little bit more. And I'm actually going to take my oranges down just a tad. It's a little orange. All right, I'm going to drop just a little bit of a vignette there, and I always pull my midpoint in to keep the focus on the baby. So this is where we were, and this is where we are. And that's it. So I know I spent a little bit more time editing that one to show you guys, but again, my edits usually take about a minute per photo, and generally on the high end, it's about 2 minutes. So I'm going to do one more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it just the way that I would normally do it. I'm going to do it at my regular speed, just to show you that once you have actions and you set them up for yourself, how quick it can be for you. This is one of my favorite crops. It's a 1x2 crop. Okay, I'm going to go up and I'm going to lighten it up just a tad. Bring her highlights down just a little. I'm going to take that into Photoshop. Lord. It's a little big. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go and start deleting all this.